Not yet, but they will be. And this is not unusual for the New England Patriots. They continue to get better as the season progresses, and right now it feels like they're hitting their stride. All of a sudden, you look up that defense, they're top 10 in terms of points allowed. They haven't allowed a 400-yard offensive performance going back to Week 7 against the Chicago Bears. So, I mean, this is a team, this is a unit that is continuing to improve. But as a team, collectively, the New England Patriots are getting back to doing what they do best, which is playing complementary football better than anybody else in the NFL, especially in December. We know about Tom Brady and Bill Belichick's record when it comes to December and then moving toward the postseason. But when I look at the offense, they've had their best back-to-back rushing performances, and you look at what they've done the last 2 weeks, they've rolled up over 375 yards rushing the football. So Sony Michel is an integral part of that offense. If they continue to have balance on the offensive side of the ball, being able to run the ball, and then Tom Brady taking advantage of shots down the field and play action, and then their defense is able to keep teams down in terms of scoring, this is going to be a tough out for anybody.
Until the Patriots can show me they can even be an average team on the road, I can't call them the best team in the AFC. Like that, everything you're saying is correct, and we are baking in, understandably, a lot of what we have seen from the Brady-Belichick Pats over the last 2 decades as far as the progression throughout the year, as far as December being their best month, and I think it's smart to use what we have seen in the past to determine what's going to happen in the future. But what we've seen in the recent past, meaning this season, is this has been a dominant team at Gillette and a slightly below-average team on the road. And so right now they're not the 1 seed. Right now they are tied for 2nd place in the AFC. We think they're going to get one of those 2 byes, but that's not a guarantee yet either. I need to see the Patriots be more consistent, particularly offensively on the road, before I can say they're better than a Chiefs team. That's the 2nd highest scoring team in the history of the league at this point in the season.
Maybe, but where's the Chiefs defense right now?
The Chiefs defense is bottom 5 and almost across the board.
They're missing. You can put them on the back of a
Okay, do the Patriots have a unit that's missing statistically?
No, they don't. And they won't, because we're too late in the season. If you're going to catch them, you got to be able to catch them early. Now, I wish I could go through life and just forget about history. But history has a way of repeating itself. Jenna asked me about this Patriots team. Cris, what do they look like? And I had to really go back into my history, because if I didn't have my history, I wouldn't be able to talk about football the way I can talk about it. Jenna, this team looks like I told you, those first 3 Super Bowl teams. How did they win? Just like this. During the regular season, not that impressive. All right, we get toward December. How'd they do it? They ran the ball. They played stingy defense. They had a quarterback that was not the GOAT yet. So for me, I've seen this happen before. Now, the last couple Super Bowls, even the one they lost, they were spectacular, high-flying offensively. But I've seen Belichick and Brady in this form when they were younger. They duplicate it. They eat up time of possession. They don't turn the ball over. Defense gets nasty as the season goes on, and the further you get down the field, because you can get some yards against the Pats. Oh, you can move the ball against them. But when they get in the red zone, that's what I'm depending on, all right? I'm depending on the red zone defense, and that I know every year Belichick in the month of December and in January, he's going to tighten that up, and even with all these new rules. So Nick says Kansas City is the highest scoring offense in the history of the league. Well, he's using history.
Yep.
So I got to use my New England history.
No, and I'm not saying I totally understand why we would look at what they have done, because it's not we're not saying since 1982. We're talking about this quarterback, this coach, this organization. I get it, but that doesn't. History can be a good indicator of what's going to happen in the future, but the future's not written in stone the way the history is, so we can't just rely on that. I'm not saying you are, but no. I think we have to be flexible with what we've seen in the most recent time.
No, I'm with you, and that's why I said they're not yet the best team in the AFC, but they're trending toward that direction. You look at everything that they've done over the course of the last 5 games, it's building towards something. So I know that loss in Tennessee makes you raise an eyebrow a little bit when they get blown out 34-10, but they're trending in the right direction in terms of the style of play and what they're trying to put together. The one thing I will say that does worry me about the Patriots defense is who's going to rush the quarterback. Like, that's the one thing that we don't know.
Mush rush, this is what they're going to do. They're going to sit back and play zone, all right? And then when they need to blitz, just like they did with the Vikings, they're going to blitz, make you throw hot, all right? So the thing with Patty Mahomes that people need to work, we haven't seen an offense be able to function outside in the cold the way they function. So they're going to change history. If they're able to do that, I was on a dome team. And, man, dome teams, we have our certain amount of problems because we get used to it. We're normally undersized. We normally got a lot of speed. But, man, when you get outside, that clumpy grass and everything, the offense changes. So Patty Mahomes and them, even if they have the number 1 seed, I don't believe they have that much of a home field advantage based on the way the team is built.
And that's where the Kareem Hunt loss is compounded. That's where the weather and the field and all of that, that's where not having a very good running back, one of the best in the league for the rest of the year, that's where that knocks the Chiefs down a peg. And we of course, have to acknowledge that.
So we're comparing the Patriots to the Chiefs. So what about the other 2 teams that PFF mentioned, the Chargers and the Steelers?
Well,
Where do you see
the Steelers
they
need to be more consistent. That's the one thing I'm concerned with them. And Ben Roethlisberger is at the heart of that. You can't throw the ball to the other team and have success and go where Mike Tomlin and his organizations expect to go. Now, the Chargers are a team you need to watch out for.
Okay.
Because they look like they're picking up steam at the right time, and they've got everything that it takes to be able to compete, not only in December, but on into January. Their formula for success is one that allows you to have postseason success.
I think the Chargers, from a defensive standpoint, match up better with Kansas City because they can get after the passer.
All right.
They can put some heat on Patrick Mahomes. I'm not saying they have a better chance to advance in representing the Super Bowl, but if you give me one unit, man, what they can do as far as getting after the passers is significant, and it can affect the way the Chiefs would try to operate.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from First Things First, or go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.